17 celebrities who battle drug and alcohol addiction. Although celebrities seem like they have it all, fame, money, fortune, and friends, the constant scrutiny and public attention often drives them to breaking point. Whether it's due to the high-pressure job or lack of privacy, we often see those in the public eye finding release in drugs and alcohol. While some of these troubled icons break free from the bad habit, others end up tragically taking their lives instead. Here are some of the celebrities who have been on drugs and suffered from alcohol abuse. Number 1. Elton John. Rising to fame in an era where drugs were the rave found Elton John battling with an addiction. As depicted in his biopic Rocketman, the iconic singer was abusing alcohol and cocaine during the height of his fame to overcome confidence issues. But when his dear friend and AIDS activist Ryan White died in 1990, Elton sought treatment, turned over a new leaf and launched an AIDS foundation. On celebrating 29 years of sobriety, Elton posted on Instagram, "29 years ago today, I was a broken man. I finally summoned up the courage to say 3 words that would change my life. I need help. Thank you to all the selfless people who have helped me on my journey through sobriety. I am eternally grateful." Number 2. Bradley Cooper. He may be known for his iconic movie roles in comedies and romances, but on his way to success, Bradley Cooper also struggled with the use of alcohol and drugs. His addiction was so bad that he'd even once deliberately bashed his head on a concrete floor and had thoughts of suicide. At the age of 29, Bradley thankfully decided to curb his bad habits and has never looked back since. On discussing his addictions, Bradley told GQ in 2013, "If I continued it, I was really going to sabotage my whole life." In the 2018 movie A Star is Born, the leading actor played the role of Jackson, a musician who was also struggling with addiction. He told Variety that playing such a relatable role was a cathartic experience. Number 3. Michael Jackson. Pop legend Michael Jackson also suffered with personal issues throughout his lifetime in the public eye. He sadly died from an acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication in 2009. The star had been using these drugs to battle chronic fatigue and insomnia, particularly in preparation for his 50-date comeback tour at London's O2 Arena. This wasn't a short addiction, however, with claims that MJ relied on painkillers throughout most of his life. Throughout his ongoing wrongful death lawsuit, it was revealed that Michael was a quite extensive drug addict during the last 15 years of his life. Number 4. Whitney Houston. The woman with the golden voice drowned in her bathtub in 2011 after a heavy use of cocaine. Although Whitney Houston's death was accidental, coroners reported that a mixture of cocaine and 12 different types of prescription drugs were to blame for her passing. The superstar had battled with drugs throughout her entire career, which received widespread media coverage. Whitney admitted to using alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, and pills, especially during her controversial relationship with singer Bobby Brown. In a 2009 interview with Oprah, she revealed that during the height of her career, doing drugs was an everyday thing. "I wasn't happy that point in time. I was losing myself." Although Whitney enrolled in rehabilitation centers multiple times, it seemed her struggles with drugs and alcohol got the best of her. Number 5. Sia. Without realizing it, singer and songwriter Sia became a heavy drinker and an addict to Vicodin and oxycodone. She blames this dependence on her struggles as an artist, but as she found the strength to sober up, she also developed her stage persona and rise to stardom. She disclosed on The Late Show, "I was a singer already for like 10 or 11 years to mediocre success, and I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And I sobered up and decided I didn't want to be an artist anymore. I was starting to get a little bit famous, and it was destabilizing in some ways. So I thought, what doesn't exist in pop music at the moment? And it was mystery." Now, Sia celebrates 9 years sober along with her success as an artist. Number 6. Daniel Radcliffe. He may be the young boy who played Harry Potter, but unfortunately, finding stardom at such a young age found Daniel Radcliffe excessively drinking. The actor even admitted that he was regularly intoxicated during the filming of the last 3 Harry Potter movies. Daniel revealed in a podcast, "I was pretty inconsolable on the last day of Potter. I was really worried. I was living alone, and I think I was really freaked out. I drank a lot, as has been recorded." Although the actor admitted to not being comfortable enough in who I was to remain sober, since then he's spent a lot of time focusing on his wellness to stay off the booze. There's a fact about the Potter cast you didn't see coming. Number 7. Prince. Another legend that was ruined by drugs was Prince, who reportedly died from an accidental fentanyl overdose. The icon was due to see a specialist in addiction the day after he died, but he was taken too soon. What's mostly disheartening about Prince's addiction is that nobody knew he had it. The star concealed his dependency on pain pills for years, with only those closest to him having suspicions of an addiction. Manuela Testolini, who was married to Prince from 2001 to 2006, revealed that he was using narcotic pain pills during their marriage to manage pain. Prince had suffered from severe hip pain. Following his death, Prince's family sued his doctor for prescribing him endless amounts of painkillers, suggesting that the doctor aided Prince's addiction. Number 8. Heath Ledger. Shortly after filming for his iconic role as the Joker in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger passed away from an overdose of painkillers, sleeping pills, anti-anxiety medication, and other prescription drugs. Heath's father, Kim, told News.com that his son did not have an addiction to opioids. Instead, the actor just made a tragic mistake on the night of his death. He mixed a couple of drugs together with sleeping tablets and he's gone forever. That's something we, himself, Kate, and wife Sally, just have to deal with. The Oscar-winning actor, who was at the peak of his career, was found unconscious in his apartment at just 28 years old. Many claim that his fragile state of mind after filming the Batman movie played a large role in his death. Others believe his troubles began when he split from his partner, Michelle Williams, a few months earlier. Number 9. Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato has been in the public eye not only for her killer vocals, but also for her battle with drugs and alcohol. Having been in and out of rehab, Demi has struggled to stay off cocaine. In fact, the singer admits to first using the illegal substance when she was just 17 years old. Demi celebrated 6 years of sobriety in 2018 and told the crowd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, "6 years ago, I was drinking vodka out of a Sprite bottle at 9 in the morning, throwing up in the car. So, I took a look at my life and I said, something has to change. I've got to get sober." So I did. In mid-2018, however, the star relapsed and overdosed on oxycodone laced with fentanyl and ended up hospitalized. Since then, Demi has thankfully sworn to stay sober. She's doing pretty well so far and is even a co-owner of a rehab facility. Number 10. Amy Winehouse. Another star that was taken too soon was Amy Winehouse. The rehab singer struggled throughout her entire career with alcohol and drug abuse. The legendary singer's battles and heavy drinking and drug use was mostly attributed to the overwhelming media attention. Amy relied on illegal drugs like heroin, ecstasy, and cocaine, and even suffered an overdose from them on top of ketamine and alcohol. In several interviews, the singer admitted to having problems with depression, and on multiple occasions, she was pictured or recorded drunk or high with episodes of erratic behavior. Although she went to rehab a few times, Amy Winehouse later died from alcohol poisoning at the age of 27. Number 11. Marilyn Monroe. It's suspected that fashion icon Marilyn Monroe died by suicide from a drug overdose at the age of just 36. The Hollywood legend was found dead in her room, surrounded by bottles of prescription pills, specifically those used to aid insomnia. Marilyn's life may have appeared glitzy and glamorous, but behind closed doors, she was suffering from depression and overwhelming pressure from fame and substance abuse. Gone too soon. Number 12. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen has always been known as the bad boy of Hollywood, indulging in drugs and alcohol. The actor spent years addicted to marijuana, alcohol, and cocaine, and his drug habits were so bad that he once had a stroke after overdosing on cocaine. Although he's been in and out of rehab endless times, Charlie's actually on the road to recovery now. Having been sober for 2 years, Charlie swears to never fall down the black hole again. He says it's his children who convinced him to stay sober. If you can't be available for the basic necessity of being there for your children, then something really needs to shift. It was that next day that I said, "Alright, it's time, let's give this a shot." And then a month went by, and a couple months went by. I'm like, alright, this feels good. This feels good. Number 13. Zac Efron. Growing up in the limelight wasn't easy for Zac Efron. As he admitted in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he had every type of drug thrown at him in Hollywood and found himself enjoying illegal substances and alcohol. "I was drinking a lot, way too much. It's never one specific thing. I mean, you're in your 20s, single, going through life in Hollywood, you know? Everything is thrown at you." After going to rehab for cocaine addiction and joining Alcoholics Anonymous, he's more comfortable and has avoided any harmful substances since. However, Zac did admit that battling his addictions is a never-ending struggle. Number 14. Elvis Presley. The king of rock and roll also had a controversial death that was caused by a heavy mixture of prescription drugs, including codeine. To protect his reputation at the time, Elvis Presley's death was attributed to cardiac arrest, rather than the lethal combination of prescription drugs. Like many other stars at the time, this combination seemed fairly normal and wasn't suspected of triggering any harm of the body. Throughout his life, Elvis was a long-time abuser of opiates in efforts to manage pain. However, the levels of opiates in his system at the time of his death were all too much on the singer's health. Reports claim that the icon's toxicology report included Dilaudid, Percodan, Demerol, codeine, and Quaalude. Number 15. Cory Monteith. The Glee star had a tragic death from a mixture of heroin and alcohol at the young age of 31. Having suffered from addiction for his entire life, the actor had been to rehab twice during his teens, as well as in 2013, the year he passed, but couldn't seem to get rid of the bad habit. Cory was reportedly skipping school to get drunk and smoke pot by the age 13, and continued from then on to abuse illegal substances. In a 2011 interview with Parade, and during a period of sobriety, Monteith discussed his struggles with drug and alcohol addiction. "I really got to know myself through a lot of that self-destruction. I feel stable. I feel happy. I like myself. I love my job. It just so happens that I fell into doing something that I enjoy, the drums and the music and acting and all that stuff. I love it a lot." Number 16. Angelina Jolie. During the 90s rage, Angelina was popping drugs like Smarties. From cocaine to heroin, the superstar was addicted to it all throughout her teenage and young adult years. Amidst the drug taking, the Hollywood icon also suffered from depression and even planned suicide twice. It was the adoption of her first child, Maddox, at 27 that helped her find stability. Angelina revealed to USA Today, "I knew once I committed to Maddox, I would never be self-destructive again." Having moved on from those dark times, Jolie is grateful that she's still standing, unlike many that have passed from similar behavior before her. Number 17. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. might be one of the world's highest paid actors, but his path to stardom hasn't been squeaky clean. In fact, the world's Iron Man first tried drugs at the age of 6, due to his father's addictions. Robert's addiction then progressed into his teenage and adult years, which included the abuse of alcohol, cocaine, and heroin. Robert found himself behind bars on numerous occasions on drug-related charges. He was publicly ruined by alcohol and drugs, giving him a bad reputation in Hollywood. But like his Marvel character, Robert has managed to overcome his addiction. He entered a treatment facility in 2003 and finally put his reputation right before being cast as Iron Man. In 2014, he told Vanity Fair, "Job one is get out of that cave." A lot of people do get out but don't change, so the thing is to get out and recognize the significance of that aggressive denial of your fate.